In my first video on this topic, I showed the grooming allegations made against Niall, aka Pyrocynical. In the second video, we took a look at Niall's response. And now we have a response from the original accuser, Ivory. He tweets out, "All I'm saying to Niall's response is that the I don't care DM was taken out of context, and I said I needed space afterwards. I didn't want to hear from this person, so I said whatever I could to get him out of my DMs. Also, the person who said I lied about my age apologized to me in DMs. He then shows two screenshots. The first images of Discord DMs that Pyrocynical showed in his response, but this one has the added context of an extra DM from Ivory telling the person, I just need space right now, I think. The next images of Twitter DMs between Ivory and Reddit Moments, the person who said that Ivory was lying about his age, and was cited in the response that Pyrocynical made. The DMs between them were made on November 1st, 2020, and it starts out with the Reddit Moments saying, just to clear this, I have to admit fault on my part. I spoke to a few people before about it, and it seems we've all had a Mandela effect. I skimmed through the interview, and I think the I'm Alex Twitter video back in the day was what caused this. To me, pedo was not a 16-year-old, and it was stuck with me since, I guess. So I apologize for that one. Let me know if you want the tweets deleted, or to stay up as an archive." Ivory responds, "I understand how you could have gotten confused, and I accept your apology. I owe you one for sending you that shit in the first place." Ivory continues his Twitter thread by saying, "Here's proof that debunks his claim that he didn't know my age," along with other things in the post. He then links to an older Twitter post he made on November 6th, 2020 that says, "Here's some more evidence I posted that a lot of people have missed." He then links to a couple tweets that I already showed in my first video, and a Twitter thread breaking down a video Ivory made of him scrolling through DMs with Pyrocynical. The thread is made by Daniel, and it starts out by saying, "Ivory gave me additional video of his conversations with Pyro. A large portion of them don't have messages from Pyro's side, as Pyro cleared most DMs with Ivory. Regardless, context of convos is still present. Video is 3 minutes long, too long for Twitter, so I put it on G Drive." Now this video, which is 3 minutes, scrolls through DMs so fast, having way too many messages in it. For me to read all of them, if I did, this video would be over 2 hours long. But luckily, as Ivory said, Daniel does have a breakdown of these DMs, and he made it in the form of a couple Twitter videos. The first one says, "A summary of the contents of the video."
Okay, so this is a quick summary of the video Ivory sent me. The full video will be in the Google Drive linked above. So it starts off in a private group chat DM, slides over. This is Ivory's account, this is Pyro's account, this is a different member of the group chat. I'm not sure who this one is. He taps on the username, it slides the card up, displaying the deleted user 49D188C59982. Taps on message. The messages load. A lot of Pyro's messages aren't here because he wiped them. It was about a year and a half's worth of messages. Regardless, you can see the context of the messages in the chat. So he spends about a minute scrolling through. And then it's around about here that, yep. So Pyro's messages start appearing here. There we go. So you can see deleted user appears around mid 2017. So he continues to scroll through. All the way up back to the very beginning in November 2016. You can see up here, there's the beginning of the DM conversation. He scrolls through more. He taps on the name. This slides over, taps on the name up there, the card swipes up, taps on the name there, card swipes up, shows more of the card, showing more of Discord's UI, showing his own user card, moving that around, scrolling through the DMs again, swiping to the left to show his, Discord recent messages, swipes out, swipes back in, swipes back over. Yeah.
The next part is captioned, "Proving that this account was owned by Pyrocynical."
So first things first is proving that this is Pyro's Discord account. Now at the beginning of the user, when you tap the username, it swipes up with deleted user 49D1E8C5, discriminator 9982. Now, this has been confirmed by multiple people in the replies to Ivory's tweet as being Pyro's actual deleted Discord account. So you can see that's the exact same Discord ID as the one with from my DMs with Pyro. Mobile screenshot, deleted user 49D1E8C5. Going to this one, this is a desktop screenshot, deleted user 49D1E8C5. This is from someone who was in a private server with a lot of people from the group, including Pyro. Regardless of both of those, going over here, this is a screenshot from the Pyrocynical Discord server. This is a bot log. So you can see server name Pyrocynical, server created 2017 0215, total users 7,000 or so. You can see right here, server owner LOL, that's Pyro's old Discord account username, 9982, that's the same discriminator that matches over here. That doesn't change when a account is deleted. And owner ID 108354333. When that full ID is put into a website that can resolve a Discord account from the ID, it displays deleted user 49D1E8C59982, which is the exact same one right here. Now you may ask why later in the video it shows here just deleted user, but then it says deleted user 49D, etc. up here. That's simply because that's how Discord works with deleted accounts. It shows the deleted account name and the deleted account alphanumeric ID when looking at the user card and at the top here, but in the actual DMs itself, it just says deleted user. However, this goes further to prove that these are legitimate, as this cannot be recreated manually, and no two deleted user accounts have the same alphanumeric ID in the username.
The third part is captioned, his age at the time of the sexual DMs, and how Pyro knew his age when they happened.
Now I'll be going through Ivory's age at the time of the sexual DMs and how Pyro knew this age. So back in April 2017, these are when the DMs with Pyro start, because Pyro removed all of his DMs after that time. You can see, I mean, you already know the contents of the DMs. I'll just quickly scroll through here. I don't really want to read it out, but it's the sexual roleplay, and then it's the not safe for work art. At this time, Ivory was 15 and Pyro was 19. And they followed each other on Twitter. So you can see Ivory frequently tweeted about his age around this time. So look, you can see, I'm 15. You get the idea. So to prove that they followed each other, I miss being Pyro on Twitter. This is a tweet from March 2017. This is a cached Google image search result. From Pyrocynical's Twitter. So LOL on Twitter, that was Pyro's Twitter display name, Ivory446633. That was Ivory's old Twitter username. And here's the screenshot that Pyro tweeted. So you can see Ivory Rasmus at the very top of the home tab. That means that Pyro followed Ivory at that time. Going over here, you can see Pyro frequently replied to some of Ivory's tweets. Here's two examples. So here's one here, Ivory's tweet, reply from a suspended account, and then replying to Pyrocynical from Ivory. Same here. You can see the exact same thing. Ivory didn't have his age in his bio at this time. However, later in the year, when he turned 16 and Pyro was 20, they still did the sexual roleplay and the NSFW art. And his proof that his age was in his bio, you can see 16-year-old singer. And, Pyrocynical Vivo following Ivory. And here's tweets about him being 16 as well, just for good measure.
The fourth part is captioned, going through the elements of the Discord UI that help to prove that this video isn't edited.
Alright, so now I'll be just going through some of the elements of the Discord UI that help prove that this video is legitimate and it's not edited, cut in any way whatsoever. So you can see he slides, there's no cuts there, he slides it, that slides up perfectly, he taps on that, and then it slides just as the Discord UI would. He scrolls through, there's the loading thing every time he reaches the top of the specific set of DMs, so you can see the little loading circle. So this continues on for a while. Still continues on. Here's where his username appears, where it's different here, deleted user 49D, etc., to here, just deleted user. That's because that's how Discord deleted users work. is in the actual DM thread. It just shows deleted user. However, in the card and in the title of the DMs, it shows the full alphanumeric ID as well as deleted user. That cannot be replicated manually, so that further proves that these are legitimate. As you can see, continues to go through. Still going through. And then he starts playing with the UI more, so he taps it up there. That slides over, taps up there, that slides up, taps there, that slides up. He moves that up and around. He taps the, mutual servers, moves that around. He taps his own username, swipes that around, as would work in the Discord UI for mobile.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I agree. Swipes through it more. He exits the app. He swipes through his friends, his DMs. He exits the app and he reopens it.
And then the last part is captioned, comparing Dafumi5/Ida's recent DMs with Ivory to messages Ivory had about Ida in 2017.
Here's another thing worth noting. So, as shown in the evidence IMGA, Pyro's current girlfriend, Daflumify, also known as Ida or Isa, DM'd Ivory, effectively blaming him for what happened. In particular, she says, where is it? So, I remember you specifically sent fat art to him, blah, blah, blah. I remember it from calls and DMs. Played along, you personally told me you liked it. That specifically, that pretty well matches up with what Ivory said over here. I asked Isa. Isa is Ida or Daflumify. Isa is just an old nickname that she went by. You can see here and here. About commissioning the NSFW fetish art, that's mentioned up here. Eating, puffing out gas, need a commission art of that. I asked them, and they never got back to me about it. But that kind of shows that Ivory spoke to this person about commissioning art like that, and then this person has said that Ivory told them that he liked it.
His last tweet in the thread reads out, a notable screenshot of the video, showing that Pyro knew Ivory's age. This was when Ivory was 16 and Pyro was 20. This had been, and continued to do, the sexual fetish roleplay and sharing NSFW fetish art. He then shows a screenshot that shows within the Discord DMs that Ivory sent a link to his Twitter profile to Pyrocynical, and when he sent it, the bio read, 16-year-old singer and producer boy named Ivory. Anyways, going all the way back to current day, Ivory has a couple more comments in regards to the Pyrocynical situation. The tweets start out with him saying, this situation is a perfect representation of why victims don't come out about their experiences. I have ample proof, and all of my friends who knew Pyro know what happened. I don't need to prove this shit to random strangers. But my hope with talking about this on a public platform was that I could progress the conversation around weeding out exploitation of minors, because this is a thing that runs rampant in all online communities, and it has the potential to ruin people's lives before they even start. On top of that, it's only a matter of alerting potential victims to past predatory behavior. I'm confirmed correct when saying that Pyro sent NSFW to a child, and you'd be blind to disregard his majority child fanbase being extremely easy prey for him, if he decided to repeat that. This shit goes so much deeper than me clout chasing, and I struggle to see how people can't grasp this. The environment that has been made and upheld is more inclined to defend predators than the children that they prey on, and that choice of who to protect is strictly enforced. Examples that come to mind are me being apologized to for being RP'd with by an adult, and then having my reply taken out of context and used against me in Niall's response. Me being gaslit by Niall's girlfriend, and her mentioning incriminating shit to get me to back down on speaking out. He then shows a screenshot of Pyrocynical's response, referencing the DM that Ivory made to somebody else saying, no, you're fine, I don't care, and then messages from Pyro's girlfriend telling Ivory that he's not innocent in this situation. Ivory continues his tweet thread by saying, all all of the people from those circles telling me I could deal with it privately, which would have made it insanely easy to sweep under the rug, along with people telling me I was egging it on, when the entire point is that no matter how I was responding, Niall was talking to a child. It's all part of a social dynamic that allows influential people in online communities to prey on their friend groups and or audience with as little consequence as possible, and it's enforced via people doing the same starstruck clout chasing shit I'm being accused of doing. Now that's about it for what Ivory had to say, but we do have some Twitter reactions to Pyrocynical's response from YouTubers. Turkey Tom tweets out, "Can't think of a better way to start off addressing allegations of grooming than hey gamers." But in all seriousness, lots of the people that are claiming Pyro's statement debunked what his accuser had to say are either being willingly ignorant or incredibly stupid. Is Pyro a groomer or a pedophile? I'd say definitely not, and Ivory never provided sufficient evidence for that. However, people saying it was definitive that Ivory lied about their age and Pyro exposed them, acting extremely low IQ. The same people who claim that we should all wait and see what the response is and not jump to conclusions without evidence are claiming that everything Ivory did was clout chasing, lying, etc. All while he has provided much more evidence than Pyro has for his claims. Pyro's only proof, as many have claimed, for Ivory lying is a few people here and there on Twitter saying that they lied. This is hardly sufficient evidence, and the fact that Pyro's own girlfriend seemed to admit in Ivory's DMs that Pyro knew his age is very odd. The unfortunate result of the Sizo controversy from a year ago is that instead of taking everything with a grain of salt and evaluating all evidence on both sides to draw a conclusion, now people completely discredit the accuser and fail to do any research on the other side. Tommy C reacts to all of this by saying, "Now that we know that Ivory had contact with Pyro for sure, if Ivory lied about his age, why did the DMs he released from deleted user, who is almost certainly Pyro at this point, he clearly states he was a minor here?" Both Inverse Daniel and myself confirmed this pic below, showing a screenshot from the 3-minute scrolling DM video where Ivory says to Pyro that he's a minor. Edwin Generation's response to Tommy by saying, "I don't like that Pyro tried to prove inconsistency from Ivory when he showed a screenshot of another older person apologizing to Ivory, and Ivory is shown saying, 'I don't care.' Why crop out the part where Ivory also said he wanted space? And why not apologize?" He then links the tweet that Ivory made regarding that incident that I read earlier in the video. MPP responds to Edwin by saying, "Thoughts on the undisputed assertion that this individual had at least one conversation regarding what occurred with Ivory a year ago, and the matter was considered complete? What is the rationale behind blacking out this person's name, as opposed to calling him/her out too?" Edwin responds by saying, "Well, for one, the individual reached out to Ivory to apologize, something Pyro never cared to do. I assume there is also no major power dynamic, which was the major point behind Ivory coming out about Pyro. Perhaps Ivory didn't feel taken advantage of in the same ways." And that's about everything in regards to this situation. Pretty interesting stuff. It's definitely not black and white who is in the right and who is in the wrong with this situation, but I do think there's good points made on both sides. I'm very curious to hear what you have to say about this in the comment section below. If you don't want to miss more updates on this story or any other drama story, be sure to subscribe with notifications on. I know still a lot of you haven't, so I just thought I'd remind you. If you want to have a more direct conversation with me about this, be sure to follow me on my Twitch stream and my Twitter, as I'm frequently on both of those platforms. I'm actually probably going to be live on Twitch by the time you watch this video. The link to those will be in the description. Thank you so much to my channel members for supporting the channel, in particular the Dank Memes Play, and A Zorich for $30 a month, and Boar for $50 a month. This helps me out immensely. I appreciate it a lot. And with all that being said, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in another video.